What is going on, Dragon Ball fans? We have some brand new information and leaks for the upcoming Dragon Ball Super manga, Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 29, in which showcases the finale of the God of Destruction Zen exhibition battle, in which may result in a very shocking ending, as we also have confirmation on one specific fighter who may in fact be stronger than his own God of Destruction. And again, don't forget to go on ahead and punch that subscribe button and enable all notifications. That way you guys can be notified whenever a Dragon Ball video is posted onto this channel in connection to news, information, and updates alongside discussions, hashtag notification squad, as we get to see a different portrayal for the manga adaptation courtesy of Tori Otaro, and of course translated by Herms98 on Twitter. We get to see the first shot here of what looks like all the other gods having to battle against Vermouth. So we get to see how Vermouth is up in the sky. He seems to be launching all of these attacks that rain down not just on Beerus but also Sidra and Kitela and Helis, in which in the next couple of days we are going to have the official English translations, which of course we are going to be reviewing Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 29 on this channel, so make sure you guys tune back in for that as we go into the next shot here, in which showcases Liquor, and he looks like he actually has a very unique attack in which utilizes his tails, and even Vermouth seems to be very surprised by this. So it's pretty cool how in the beginning we get to see how the Universe 11 God of Destruction is unleashing attacks upon everybody, and the same thing now goes for Liquor, as he seems to be all the offensive. And then as we get to see as Liquor is firing off all these attacks, we get to see how Universe 2's God Helis, in which he ends up catching Liquor by his blind side and pulling out a bow and arrow, and thus shooting Liquor right on the side of the head, right in the temple with her arrow, which seems to have caught the attention of Beerus and Kitela. And again, this fight right from the start looks very ferocious, as every God of Destruction seems to be having their own moment in this manga chapter, as we transition forward in seeing Liquor, and his arm actually got shot right through, because if it were not for him pretty much deflecting that arrow, it's pretty safe to say that he could have probably died, because as you guys can see, he has a freaking arrow sticking out from his arm, something that I think we never would see in the anime portrayal, which I think the manga adaptation serves its purpose, as we get to see Universe 10's God of Destruction Rematch. As I said in my previous spoiler video, he begins to shout really loudly, that seems to pretty much catch the attention of all the gods on the field, including Champa and Beerus, even Goku, which ultimately enough results in knocking out the Supreme Kai, which I was pretty shocked by, because it looks like everybody aside from the angels were affected by this, especially the Kaioshin, as seen in that one little picture down below. We get to see how multiple Kaioshins seem to have been knocked out by this. So it looks like Rematch actually has a very useful technique in essentially knocking out Kaioshin. So from there, we get to see how Jin and Champa seem to be a tad bit nervous by this, as we get to see Rematch. He begins to charge forward. He actually runs down Iwan and Sidra, which is pretty terrifying, because considering that we all thought Rematch was going to be somewhat of a scrub in the anime, in the manga, it looks like he's pretty useful. So he trucks right through Iwan, he actually bulldozes right through Sidra, and we get to see how later on he bowls right through a Jin, and Goku and everyone is dumbfounded as to the strength of Rematch. But either way, we also get to see another shot here of Jin and Arak, and they're all letting off shots, and Goku seems to be very surprised by this, because according to this manga chapter, or at least what's being said, there is no definitive confirmation as to which god is the strongest. However, it is a very barbaric battle, as we also get to see a very cool shot of the outside of the entire ring, and the entire ring seems to just be engulfed in smoke and energy blasts, and we get to see how Champa's fighting Sidra, Moscow is holding on to Liquor, pretty much crushing him in his hand, while ultimately enough shooting a massive energy blast at Helis, and the Omni Kings are very dumbfounded by this, because as we go on, according to Herms, this fight eventually ends up being stopped. But before all that's said and done, we get to see how even the Grand Priest is noticing that the Omni Kings seem to be a tad bit confused. They seem to have like a blank look on their face, because they don't seem to understand what's happening, because the gods are really going all in. If you really pay attention to detail, all the gods look to be hurt. Like for example, Champa, he's cut up, he's bleeding. Beerus is cut up, he's bleeding. All the gods are essentially cut up, they're bleeding. You get to see marks on their bodies, and Goku is just at a loss for words. And then we finally get to see the final blow between Kitella and Beerus, and just right before they are about to knock each other out, the Grand Priest steps in, and with one finger on each hand, he blocks off the gods of destruction from fighting each other any further. As you can see, Beerus is beat up, Kitella has lumps on the top of his eyeball, he's also beat up, and the Grand Priest stops everything with one finger, and as a result, we get to see how Champa's laid out, Cedra's laid out, Arak is laid out, Moscow's laid out, every single god is practically laid out, and it's safe to say that if it were not for the Grand Priest, Beerus and Kitella would probably knock each other out too. So according to this, there is no, again, confirmation who is the strongest, at least as of right now. However, as we transition forward, we get to see how all of the gods are ultimately enough being revived by their angels. All the angels seem to pretty much give energy off to their gods, all but Vermouth. So we get to see how Vermouth, all the way in the distance, we see how everyone else is being healed up except for him. He seems to stick his hand out and not wanting any assistance. Now here's the thing that's gonna blow everybody's mind. So we understand that Toppo is going to fight Goku in this manga chapter. However, according to Herms98 on Twitter, after the battle with Toppo, Toppo flat out says that Jiren is stronger than the Universe 11 God of Destruction Belmont or Vermouth in terms of battle power. Now according to Herms, he says though in terms of battle power, it does make it sound like Vermouth may have the advantage in some areas, but according to what Toppo said in this manga chapter after fighting Goku, it looks like Jiren is in fact stronger when it comes to battle power in comparison to Vermouth. So we have a lot to look forward to, guys. I mean, again, you guys have just witnessed the overall conclusion of this fight between the gods. It is a lot to look forward to, and I did not even expect for there to be more information dropping left and right today. But either way, guys, if you guys have missed out the previous videos for today, I highly encourage you guys to go on ahead and check them out alongside various other things to come later out throughout the day. I am so excited for this because this brings more of a realistic standpoint for the gods and all of them having to knock each other out. I mean, this was a bloodbath, but by the very end, we get to see how Tom and Jerry, Beerus and Kitella are the last two remaining. So post your comments down below, guys. What are your overall thoughts on this tournament? What are your overall thoughts on what's being shown? Thank you all so very much for watching. If you guys are new to the channel, as I said before, don't forget to go on ahead and punch that subscribe button, guys. If you guys enjoyed it and cannot wait for the review, in which will be dropping in about 3 to 4 days, go on ahead and slap a like down below. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.